What happens when a $9 an hour gig meets a lightning
什么呢？
fast pivot table? Hey everyone. Honestly, this image quality is just terrible. Is upgrading your phone really that much of a hassle? Right then, the guy was just like that. Foster led the officers all the way into a dead-end alley. Just as they were closing in to make the arrest, the situation turned explosive. With no way out, Foster suddenly whipped out his gun and aimed it at Officer Moak. The officer pulled his weapon instantly. In a split second, both of them fired 3 shots at each other. It happened in less than a second. That's some truly elite speed. This is the result of murder. Get down, I said, get down. After the shootout, both of them collapsed. Officer Steven arrived immediately to take control of the scene. You can see on Officer Steven's body cam that despite being hit, Officer Moak launched a final, desperate counterattack, knocking Foster to the ground. The handgun fell to the dirt. "We need a clear shot. Move again and I'll open fire." Officer Steven stepped on the gun to secure it and called for backup. But out of nowhere, Foster scrambled back up, trying to bolt again. 2026. The guy is down on the ground. Today's first case takes us to Colorado Springs, Colorado. At 1:30 in the afternoon on February 24th, 2026, police officers spotted a man. He was later identified as 35-year-old Mike Foster. Officer Moak tried to intercept Foster, but held his fire to avoid hitting someone else, who told him to act like that. Seeing that the suspect was unarmed, Officer Steven also showed restraint. But right at that moment, Foster reached back, trying to grab the gun. For safety reasons, the officer fired again. This time, Foster finally stayed down. Once the area was confirmed secure, the officers proceeded to arrest Foster. They provided emergency medical aid immediately. Shortly after, Officer Moak and Foster were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Later, the police recovered a Springfield Armory Hellcat micro-compact pistol at the scene. It was confirmed that this gun was stolen. Foster had been hiding it in his pants. I shot! Officers let their guard down to launch his ambush, leaving Officer Moak with critical, life-threatening injuries. The 2 officers returned fire with 7 rounds in total. Officer Moak fired twice, landing 1 shot in Foster's arm. Officer Steven fired 5 rounds, hitting Foster 4 times. After medical intervention, wearing a mask on the street in the middle of a hot day, it's hard not to suspect something is off. When Officer Moak and Officer Steven Mybert approached him for routine questioning, Foster took off running. Both officers immediately gave chase. Foster is now out of immediate danger and remains in medical custody. Officer Moak has since been discharged from the hospital and has started his administrative leave with his colleagues. According to court records, Foster has an extensive criminal history. Since 2011, he has been involved in the sale of illegal substances, credit card fraud, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. He had previously been convicted of illegal firearm possession on January 2nd, 2026, because Foster confessed to being a convicted felon in possession of a weapon. He was stripped of his gun rights. After posting a $10,000 bond, Foster disappeared the very next day, and less than a month later, he attacked police with a firearm. This time, Foster will be charged with first-degree attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, first-degree assault on an officer, and illegal possession of a weapon as a convicted felon. Given the severity of the crime, the judge will impose an enhanced sentence. Foster faces a minimum of 18 years and up to 96 years in prison, with a bail set at $1 million cash. Regarding this punishment, his mother, Lorraine Foster, voiced her protest and on February 23rd, 2026, joined the Colorado Springs anti-racial. The 2 officers followed Foster all the way to a residential property. The homeowner had just arrived and was stunned to see a guy and 2 cops sprinting into their backyard. From a bystander's perspective, you can see the pursuit unfold. And Political Oppression Alliance to organize a massive protest rally outside police headquarters. She claimed that Foster was a life-loving, filial child. Even though he had a criminal record, she argued that once he was disarmed, the officers shouldn't have kept shooting. She insisted there was definitely white officer bias against people of color involved. She claimed the officers' excessive force and racial discrimination almost took the life of a young man with a heart of gold. They are demanding that the mayor and the attorney general release Foster immediately, or they will make them pay the price. However, based on the body cam footage, the legal plans of the Foster family, it's probably looking grim. It'll be a miracle if he makes it out alive. Let's go. His luck has finally run out. Now, the man we're talking about today wasn't nearly as lucky. On April 29th, 2026, the Richfield Police Department received a call from a local resident. A man, later identified as 27-year-old Safford Hollis, was attempting to steal a vehicle. Sergeant Mario Leon and Sergeant Chris Schultz were dispatched to the scene to handle the situation. The footage is really grainy, though I mean, is it that hard to get a better phone? Foster led the officers into a dead end. Just as they were about to move in for the arrest, everything changed in a heart. This is the first time I've ever seen two sergeants partner up for a call like this. I wonder how they'll perform. Let's switch over to the body cam footage. I see him. He's running north toward Oliver. Once he spots the officers, Hollis turns and takes off. Both officers immediately start the pursuit. Stop, he's heading south. He's cutting through the alleyway to the west loop around. Go over there and cut him off. This is where you really see the experience of high-level police work. Leon tells his partner to break off and take a different route to flank him. He's wearing orange shorts, white shoes, and carrying a black backpack. Sergeant Leon is sprinting, constantly calling out his position over the radio. After chasing him for a walk, the two officers successfully corner Hollis.
Stop right there!
Comply with the order, stay right there, stop running. Seeing Hollis looking disoriented, Sergeant Leon goes for a full-speed sprint and launches himself into a diving tackle. Hollis hits the ground hard, but suddenly a handgun appears in his hand. Chris shouts a warning to his partner.
Orange shorts, white shoes, black male, backpack.
With nowhere left to run, Foster suddenly pulled a gun on Officer Moak. The officer pulled his weapon in an instant, and in the blink of an eye, they both fired 3 shots. It all went down in under a second, absolutely top-tier reaction speed. As you can see, the bullet shatters Sergeant Leon's wrist.
Police, you're under arrest! Stop right there! Stop, stop, stop!
Sergeant Chris returns fire immediately. Arg! Running on pure adrenaline and numbed by shock, Sergeant Leon manages to pull his weapon and return fire. I'm hit! Now, let's take another look at the footage from Sergeant Chris's body cam at the time. Since the officers didn't realize the suspect was armed at that exact moment, before the Sergeant Chris rushed in to make the arrest. Shots fired! Shots fired! After emptying his magazine, Sergeant Chris stops shooting. Then his partner Leon fires again. I've been hit. I'm hit. I'm hit. Get back. Get back. More backup is arriving on the scene. After handing the scene over to the arriving officers, Chris uses a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Mario, get down. I'm right here. I'm right here. Hold him down. Hold him down. Got him. This was a life-or-death showdown. After the exchange of gunfire, both men went down. Officer Steven arrived right behind them to secure the scene. Tourniquet. Stay right there. Just stay there. 2525. I've been hit. I think I hit him too. Where are you hurt? My right arm. Copy that. Soon, paramedics arrived and rushed Sergeant Leon to the hospital, while Hollis was pronounced dead at the scene. Later, police investigation reports revealed that since the age of 19, Hollis had accumulated at least 7 charges for robbery and burglary across 3 counties in Minnesota. His most recent brush with the law was on March 13th, 2026, when he was sentenced to 24 days in custody. After being released on March 26th, he was arrested again the very next day and held for 2 more days. Only a month after his release, Hollis was at it again, leading to the police chase. In this incident, Hollis fired a single shot from a handgun, striking Sergeant Leon in the right hand. In response, the two officers returned fire 30 times. Hollis was struck 28 times and died instantly. Sergeant Leon underwent surgery and was discharged from the hospital the following day. He and Sergeant Chris have since been placed on mandatory critical incident leave. From Officer Stevens' body cam, you can see Officer Moak mounting a desperate counterattack after being hit, rushing into the backyard. Upon hearing the news of her son's death, his mother, LaTanya Hollis, hired an attorney and announced a lawsuit against the Richfield Police Department. She claims that her son, Hollis, was a sensible, optimistic, and cheerful boy growing up, but the cruelty of fate left him suffering from long-term schizoaffective disorder. She says this isn't the first time police have used excessive force against a young man with a fragile, broken mind. After being arrested for theft in 2023, a mental health evaluation led the court to officially declare Hollis as suffering from mental illness. Legally speaking, Hollis was deemed incompetent to stand trial, yet the court still ordered him to be forcibly detained. This fatal shooting has left his mother feeling nothing but pain and despair. She argues that the two officers continued to fire more than 20 rounds even after her son was clearly incapacitated. Furthermore, the lawyer points out that the body cam footage provided by the police may have been edited. This video, they claim, has manipulated the public's perception of Hollis. It's a malicious smear campaign. His mother wants people to see the vulnerability of her son as a human being, rather than letting the police and media paint him as a demonized suspect. People were stunned. From a bystander's view, you can see the officers giving chase. So, after hearing the details of this case, what do you think? Were the officers' actions justified? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And before we go, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share it. Really helps us out. See you in the next one.